Hi, I'm going to show you how to animate any spinning object in Blender. First off, we're going to open up Blender, remove all the objects so we have a fresh screen, and then add a mesh plane. Then we'll add a UV sphere. Now that needs resizing. We're going to raise it up above the plane, shade it smooth, and resize it by hitting S and pulling our mouse in. Now we're going to split our screen. So the left side, we're going to create a shader editor. So we can add our texture material onto our object. Hit the materials tab, click new. And that shows up on the left side as well. And on the right side, once we've zoomed into that, on the right side, we'll change the object mode to texture paint. Now if we go up to tools, it says it's got no texture, which we know, so we'll click add and add the base color. Hit OK. And go over to the left side, click on the folder and find your material. I've saved mine here and I'm going to choose the earth map, which I've put in the description if you want it. Okay, so now we turn our texture paint back to our object mode, and then we change our viewport shading to material so we can see our textures. Okay, so now go to our rendering properties, click ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space reflection, and if we click on that, we can also click on refraction. Then to our output, we'll change our frame rate to 30 frames per second. And we'll choose where we want our render to be saved. Change the file format from PNG to FFmpeg video, and click on encoding, and we want MPEG 4, so that's done. Now I'm going to make my sequence go for 3 seconds, so I need to change the end rate to 90. Now make sure you're on frame 1, which is our first frame. Hit record, click on the object, and then use your keyboard, hit I and choose rotation. End frame, which is 90, and do the same thing. Hit I on the keyboard and click rotation. So they're two of the same. Now you can either shift N or just pull it out here. One rotation is 360 degrees. For the object rotation, I'm going to set it to rotate twice. 360 degrees is once, so I'm going to put it at 720, which is a multiple of 360. And if we hit play, we can see that earth now turns. By default, Blender uses motion easing, which makes the animation speed up at the start and then slow down at the end. Now to change this to a linear speed, make sure you're at the first frame. Go over to Dope Sheet and then click Key and up to interpolation mode and choose linear. You'll find now, if you go back to timeline and check it, your earth is now spinning at a constant rate. Now I have a slight looping issue because frame 1 and frame 90 are the same. Now in order to rectify this, click on frame 1's keyframe and just pull it over to 0 so it's not included in our render. This way we don't have a repeat in our sequence and you should find the loop a lot smoother. So now if we close this off, what I'm going to do next is change my texture slightly so it has a metallic look to it. Next, I'm going to create a background for my scene. I'm going to use I'm going to put a cosmic background in. You don't really need to do the same, so I'm going to speed this up a bit, but if you want to, you can follow it. Okay, so I'm going to add a camera, and as you can see, it doesn't fit my background, so I need to stretch my background in order for it to cover the entire camera. I'll move my earth over, and I think I'll add another planet. So we'll do the same again. We'll go to Mesh, UV Sphere, shade it smooth, reposition it, and then resize it. Hit S and pull it in. I'll make this one a bit smaller and move it across. You can see my bottom plane needs to be stretched as well, so I'll click on that and stretch that across. Then I'll click back onto my second planet, go to the materials, hit new, go up to object mode, switch it to texture paint, and then up to tools and add a base color. In my folder, I'll use my VOLCANIC. Again, I'll add this one if you want to download it. And I'll just make a few adjustments to this one so it's a bit different. Again, I'll use the metallic. I'll turn it up a bit, just give it a little shine. But this time I'll go down to the emissions section and I'll change the strength to about 4. And if we go up to viewport shading and change that to the rendered view, and then back to emission and click on the black panel, and we'll change that from black and pull it up and add a little red so it glows slightly red, not too much. Okay, back to object view, change my viewport shading to material, make sure I'm on the first frame, hit record. On my keyboard, hit I and rotation, same with 90. And then this time we'll just spin it once, so 360 is enough. And again, go back to 1, switch over to dope sheet, hit key, interpolation mode, linear, back to your timeline. And then we'll pull that timeline down so we have a better view of our scene. And now I'm going to add some lights. I'll fast forward this as well because I'm not great at it and it's up to you how you want to style your picture or your animation. Okay, once you've done that, hit render, render animation, and let Blender do its thing. And there you have it. Hope that's useful for you. Remember, you can do any object with this.